Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before I do get started, let me give a brief little review. In the last part, we had a lot of things going on. Now, we had Deku. We also had Indra. Now, Deku and Indra, they were talking about a few things. And after the Battle of York, Deku, he learned some disturbing information. It answered one of the questions Indra's had for quite a long time. And it somewhat shook Deku a little. He can come to grips with it, but the people who can't are Atrig and Theodore. Atrig learned thanks to a note left in Deku's Chanto blade, a note that was left tied to it. Usin Druso is alive. The man gave him information in a letter that was indisputable proof of this fact. And Theodore, whenever he heard Deku say his own mentor's name, he felt sickened. Atrig was full of rage. And Theodore, his was definitely there to merit it. It was well deserved. In his eyes, the student he trained who just surpassed him was talking down about a dead man. The very man who helped to change his life for the better. Only to learn from Atrig that that dead man who changed his life changed Izuku's for worse. His student suffered because of his former mentor. Now, with that being said, Deku and Ochako, after they left, had a bit of a heart-to-heart. She's seen how Deku was whenever he broke down after everything that happened. She had trouble coming to terms with everything that happened to her own allies and friends. Deku lost nearly everybody he knew. Kirishima lost his life, but he lost people and was cursed. Last time she saw him, he was comatose and just muttering to himself. Now he's a battle-hardened warrior who is leagues above them in power. What happened at York shook her. It was a wake-up call. Deku was talking about a way for them to get more power and grow faster. And they were both hesitant to take it. Right now, she knows that's what they need to do. Had York not been a city made for battle with thousands of warriors who were fighting that day, the casualties could have been from the low thousands to potentially millions in a city like that size. The Blob of Annihilation and the Phoenix are still prominent threats they have to deal with. Deku's words may not have been comforting, but he told her one fact. The dark thoughts that Curse put in his head are still there. Murder everybody and get rid of the evil mankind has. One option was going after her, going after Bakugo, going after everyone close to him, nearby him, and snapping. That was an option. Kill until the evil in his mind told him to stop. But he didn't. He wants to believe good people still exist. With all his being, he wants to believe that. It may not be something comforting, but it was the truth. Help who he can and move on. Keep doing that. See the beauty life has to offer and be there to aid people. Pull them up, not punch them down. Now, after that, Indra came to talk to Izuku about a book she found about dual cultivation methods. Something quite intrusive and intimate for people. Now, while the two were having this chat about these methods, Atrig came to speak to Deku. And right now, after the two took on their dragon forms, they flew off. Deku, he had a vibrant form, larger than an adult dragon, his body like hot magma, hot red stones, but still with that red color, the dark crimson color of his scales. but he did have a glow, and his wings, they definitely radiated power and heat, and the two flew off. Now, they have been flying for well over an hour, and there is where Deku, he has realized that with them flying at this speed, they're covering a lot of land. And there is where the two, they do go to arrive nearby Granala, a large faraway mountain that Deku, he feels like he's seen before on his runs through the territory in the area. And when they do arrive at a mountaintop, Druso, Atrig, he does get to shrink back down. Right now, him going to express, going to land in his humanoid form with draconic wings. That this is the place where him and Druso met for the first time. Him turning his head. This land has been growing for the last 20 years. Has it? Yes. Druso is a very strong and powerful human. He showed me much. I believe he was around your strength when I met him. If not, a little lower than that. He showed me I was weak in my age. Him turning, walking towards the cave, and going to let out a loud roar that does cause some creatures to come stirring out. Instead of them trying to attack, they do to run off. And he does his own laugh, expressing, this used to be home. More than 2 decades ago. Druso came here to slay him, or to drive him from the land. Did he now? Yes. The two walking inside. And there is where he does get to snap his fingers, lighting up the wall and expressing, now, this place was made for dragons. He did add some early modifications, but his home, that was made to accommodate humans, and many of the like. Them walk into a wall as they return. Deku going to look out and see the statue that does sit there. And he does go to express. Did he? No. This is the work of my friend. Your friend? Yes. She was quite proficient in earth magic. She made it shortly before we left. We went back to her home. And shortly after Indra was born, she died. I see. And how did that happen? If that's too much to ask, don't. No. You need to hear this. She died because a man thought he could kill a dragon. They tried to use her against me. She knew the risk, and she made sure that they couldn't use her against me. I murdered every one of those men with my claws. I protected my family and what remained of it. She built this statue to honor my friend. And she died. She did a heroic action. She knew that I would stop. I wouldn't let harm come to her. She protected me. Now, sit. Him gesturing to the ground and expressing. He is going to teach him a little bit about dual cultivation. However, he wants him to bring all the information he has about Druso to the front of his mind. Look at his face and think of it. Really? That is how he used to be. Think of how he is now. Dual cultivation is a mix of our mana, our very essence, purified and refined. You are going to feel mine, I will feel yours. we're going to cycle them through each other. Focus on it, and you will feel a connection. I will transfer my emotions and thoughts through our connection to you. You will see what I know of Druso, what he was like once, and I will see what he has turned into. You see the future, I see the past. Now let's change those perspectives. Him beginning to radiate mana, and Deku, he does understand, closing his eyes and getting a sense for it. He can feel the essence surrounding him, reaching out to Deku, trying to invade his body and try to cycle mana through him, cycle essence. And Deku, he does try to think, following Adri's guide as he does express about what they're going to do. And after a second, the two, they are able to begin cycling their magics together. And Deku, he can see how this is quite a strange process. Quite a powerful one, too. And he does begin to see things. He sees the day Druso, he walked up this mountain to either kill a dragon or run it free of this territory. And he had magical wings on his back. And this Deku does get to see. Before it does cut to a story in a bar. And then it does even go to cut to a woman standing there in front of Atrig. Him in his humanoid form and talking with her. And he does stare at her eyes. Those beautiful eyes he recognizes and can see every day. And there is also Atrig, who does get to see the current day version of his friend. And there actually is a little bit of time later. The two, they went over their information. They cycled magic through to each other and talked a little bit more. Deku, he talked to Atrig about what to do with his magic, and the fact that he does have dragon shards left to spend. The man was quite interested to hear about Deku explaining the system to him. It was a foreign concept, along with some of the other images Deku showed about his old world. It was quite the interesting experience, a way to pass time. Perhaps tinker with some of those concepts for magical devices, and see what they can do. That is what he came to a conclusion for. And right now, there is where Deku, he does get to walk back down the stairs into Atrig's home. The man, he wanted to spend some time there, go over the information he had of his old friend. The idea that he turned into a monster, something more than human, but less than a man. The way he talked, the way he portrayed himself and carried himself when Deku saw him. That wasn't his friend. That was a corpse in the shape of a man. Hollow and horrifying to perceive. Now, Deku, he currently does go to walk into the room, and Indra, she was talking with Diso's sister. Right now, Zydeerath going to sit there on her lap, and it does get to raise its head whenever it does get a whiff of Deku's scent. It leaping into the air and flapping its small wings over to him. Deku looking up as the dragon does a crash into his tunic. It wrapping around onto his shoulder. Him walking over and going to sit down with a look on his face that does show anger. It shows confusion. It shows confliction. And Indra does stare at Deku, who does begin to start making a pot of tea and trying to think about what to do. Him going to pour magic into the pot. And when the small pot does begin to start to glow a little with red mana, he does go to push it away. Before he does, gonna fall back and lay on the ground. Him gonna sit there at the small table and trying to think. He's got to figure this all out. What to do to figure this dude out? He had a thing with a princess, and, well, he liked her. He went to war. He raised Theodore. Theodore, he was an orphan of war. His village was attacked one day, and then there was the day he killed a man. His mentor found him later. The boy was being tortured. He took two of their men. That's the thing Theodore left out of that fucking story. And they took both of his wings. He killed those men. He kept Theodore safe. He tried to heal him, tried to find out methods, and developed the wing technique for Theodore. The way he fights with it. It's a personal thing. That's why he has those scars on his back. A scared kid turned into Theodore. Indra leaning over him. And Deku, he does gonna snap his gaze towards her. Are you okay? No. I talked with your dad a bit. He showed me more about dual cultivation and how it works. Did he? Are you sure you're okay? I know my dad's done a lot over the centuries. He's a dragon. So, you're a dragon slayer. Him going to sit up and go to turn to the girl. She does have golden hair. Platinum? She has horns, and she does even have flecks of scales on her face. The draconic eyes. Deku, seeing that her shoulder does carry a bit more scales than Indra's arms do. And he does get a turn towards her. Sorry, who? Him turning back. You've kind of caught us at a bad time. Who are you? I saw you earlier, but I didn't think much about it. I'm Haas. It's hard to pronounce it in common. Hazley. She's Hazley. She's used to speaking Draconic with her siblings. Can you believe that? You have siblings? Yeah, there's quite a few of us. Mom and Dad are still, I guess, expanding the family. Though me and Diso are from the first clutch. Really? That's odd to hear. It's not that odd. Though I can see where you're coming from. Not many of us halflings exist. And the ones who do, from most stories in my knowledge, don't tend to last very long. People tend to try and grind our bones up to see if they can get immortality, or try and gain favor with a dark god. That's grim, Hazley. It's true, though. That story's been disputed a few times, and from what I understand, they don't tend to mess with good aligned dragons. Anyways, you're a dragon slayer. Sorry, she's one too. And you're half dragon. That's a long story. One very complicated, and I'm not sure is a good one to tell. Especially given the current situation. Oh, sorry, I'm not used to having this much talk with someone in common, and, well, I do speak Draconic. Deku saying that out in her language. And she does look a little taken aback by that for a second. Before Indra does begin to speak. She prefers common because it was simpler. It was her mother's language. Deku talking about it, looking back towards the small dragon and beginning to somewhat scratch it on the chin. Him going to sit up fully and begin to start pouring some tea. Right now, Deku going to bring down a small piece of jerky as Wrath does express, "Thank you." Him going to snap it out of Deku's fingers as he does this one start laughing a bit. The dragon munching it down as he does this one pat its belly. It's rolling on to its side for Deku to scratch. And he does go to express, going to open his system and think about this decision. He's got to pick a skill. He's still got to pick his familiar ability with Wrath. Then there's the whole thing about the other draconic shards. Had he had a pick sooner, he would have had different options. He was able to pick one for the ancient dragon because apparently the amount of soul you got from that one is larger. That or the dragon's power is. How does that work actually? A dragon's power must have some sort of influence on all of this. Not on his mind. And he does try to think. Right now, him going to stare at the familiar ability and the options it does give him. Draconic Eyes. Gain the eyes of an adamantine dragon. True Sight will also be added onto this ability. Deku staring at that. It's a passive ability, it's certainly something, but last time he had this option, he'll look at the others. Draconic Wings. Give yourself the wings of a dragon. Ability is a passive ability. Wings can be manifested or demanifested at will, and they also can be used as offensive capabilities. Him staring at this, him looking at that, and then going to look down at the third option. Draconic Spikes. Allow yourself to have hide similar to an adamantine dragon. Spikes can cover the body and can even be used offensively in certain actions. Deku's staring at that, and it does also show him a bit more about this ability. This ability is considered rare. It's not a bad one, but he does have to wear armor. Could he grow spikes out of the front of his arms? Out of the front of his hands, maybe? That could certainly be a devastating ability. Draconic Claws. The fourth ability. Gain the claws of an adamantine dragon. Hide will be strong and tough on hands. Deku staring at this, and he does try to think. I mean, he can fly already, he has draconic eyes, they just don't do the true sight thing, and spikes don't work if he has armor. That's just him needing to fight without his armor to make use of that ability. Okay, the claws can work. Him selecting those. And right now he does gonna pull his left hand away as there is where Indra and Hazley do turn. Right now them watching on his Deku, he does hold up his hands. The scales around them beginning to shift and change as his nails do to darken. And right now, he does go to look down at his hands before they do go to elongate in the claws and change in color. Him staring at his hands and going to express. Well, that certainly does look a bit more intimidating than he thought. Going to turn off the ability. And Indra does it ask him if he's doing that thing again where he gets rewards. Yeah, I am. I've still got a few of the dragon corpses in my inventory too. And that's a whole other thing. I'm looking at something new. He got an ability just like that? It's a thing with the heroes. Absorb legendary creatures' souls and they get power. Strange powers. I mean, I got plasma magic out of it, but he's getting different things. Maybe not. Deku looking at the other options. The level 2 abilities were 2 draconic shards. I mean, I'm seeing some interesting ones here. Oh, what are you looking at? Infernal Flame, Sound Magic, Illusion Magic, and I guess an interesting one called Heated Blood. Oh, what? Those are interesting magic types? You can just learn them? Wait, how do you get sound magic and illusions out of fire magic? No, the shards are from different creatures, but because they're both worth the same amount, and I get more advanced options worth 2 shards from the same dragon class. I think I understood that. It's weird. Her going to express. What is he picking? Well, Infernal Blood would conflict with my Acid Blood, and I only have a fire ability that I'm nearly maxing out. I still have to spend my points, so I'll go with that one. Him clicking Infernal Fire. And right now, he does go to feel a shift in his fire magic. The Infernal Flames going to somewhat begin to lighten his hand. And he does a close his system as does a hold up his hand. Talking about it. Okay, that is a lot better. Huh. So you can just do that. I know my brother mentioned Bakugo was weird, but it's all of you? Yeah. Long story short, we get strange abilities. We also have affinities for all types of magic. That one I didn't believe. It's true. He's got a few and he just keeps getting more. Call it a bad habit I'm correcting. Listen, we've got to figure everything out. Now that I'm back, I gotta do a few things. Where's Bakugo no Chaco? There with my brother. Bakugo mentioned getting Elsa, but I don't know where she's at. You have to talk to him? Right. I've got to talk to someone about the dragons in my inventory and the Kraken. Though, if we're going to go to Bitopia, then that might take a minute. I just thought of something. What did you think of? Well, I know that there's only 5 adamantine dragons there right now that exist in reality. If what Aurora said is true, then there's more on that plane. Right? Okay, so that means that there's only 4 on that plane currently. In 1,000 years, they'll go extinct again, right? When that clutch dies? Maybe? I don't know. They could try to make halflings of the other dragons or see if they can pass down the family line. Maybe. But that's another story. What if we revive other animating dragons? Aurora's horn, I used it and only got 5 uses out of it. I got 4 now, but if I revive another dragon, do you think that she'll give me another charge? I don't know. That's actually a very good question. Deku thinking about it. It's definitely a good one. Maybe, maybe not. I'll have to think. It's starting to get a bit late, so I'll probably need to ask about that some other time. Do gods technically even sleep? That is a funny question to try and ask. Right. I can get Elza in a minute. I also gotta talk to someone in Granala, and I was just there. Oh, that sucks. I can teleport across planes. I guess a little bit of time is nice to travel. Flying's nice. I'm gonna stand. Walking away as Hazley does try to ask Indra a bit more questions, and she does get to give a little bit of answers. Deku walking into the library downstairs. When he does get to do so, he does look around, seeing Diso sitting there talking about a few things, and he is speaking in Draconic. Translating it back to common as the two do turn their heads. Deku expressing walking over. Well, now, does he really think that that's a good idea? What? They may learn something. You're reading for them. Either learn Draconic, guys, or figure it out on your own. Says you. Mr. I can speak every language I hear. Alright, fine, Mr. Second Best. You said you wanted to go get Elsa? Uh, yeah, I did. Listen, that whole thing about becoming a planeswalker, do you think I can? I think you can, yeah. Though, it's gonna be dangerous. Are you sure you want Elsa there? Yeah, I'm worried about her. Then we gotta deal with the other thing, the Blob of Annihilation. Yeah, I sent it to the Beastlands. I wasn't there for very long. Okay, so we're gonna be training there, but what about Theodore? You said that he wanted to come with us? Or I think it was him. He made it quite clear. He wants to be involved. And with everything I know now, I can't say no to him. You want to get Elsa, so let's go. Deku walking over. And Urabako does try to tell Deku where she is. He does try to think about going back to York and going from there. Though, with a little bit of thought, he does know the vague area. And whenever he does turn his head and try to focus on the dragon, he does go remember the Cobalt, and he can find her. Right now, him using Bakugo to... There she is. Teleporting away. And Iso does talk about it, holding up the book and restating it. As he was saying, this part is very us getting over to Elsa, who currently was trying to sit there and think about what to do. She was worried about Bakugo. And then when she got to York, the place was in shambles. Right now, her going to lay back and try to think before someone does express. This looks like the right place. Him going to hear someone jump up with a sound. Her looking at Deku and being alarmed, not recognizing the strange man for her head does a turn and look at Bakugo. Her lunging at him and crashing into him with a large hug. And Deku does look at the two, before the both of them do get a kiss. And he does get to turn away, talking about it. Right. So that is her, right? He's not just making out with a random kobold. It's her. Hi, I'm Elsa. Yeah. Deku turning back. We've met before. You're Izuku, right? Yes. You look different. I know. Are those eyes real or an illusion? They're real. The horns, they're real too. You seem off. A lot's happened. You're not cursed anymore. Your forehead isn't glowing with a weird color or energy. No, I'm not. You don't seem bloodlusted. Elsa, I'm not at the moment. Are you gonna keep asking me questions if I just keep letting you talk? I might, though I'm also quite curious about a few things. I have learned a lot. Do you know how to fight? Vaguely, but I'm not very strong compared to everyone else. That's not a bad thing. You can train. In fact, we're gonna go take Bakugo training and see what we can do there. How would you like to meet another dragon? Really? Yup. Him bring a hand to Bakugo's shoulder and teleporting them away again. And when they do arrive back in Atrix's home, Deku, he does find himself directly in front of the table. Him going to sit down and grab a cup, pouring more tea and talking about it. Right. They should gather everyone together and then go. What happened to the Phoenix now that he's actually thinking about it? I don't know. I think Ochako banished it away. She did something to it. I'm not sure. Someone fought it, I think, but I don't remember. There was a lot of craziness happening there. Him nodding his head. And everyone, they do go to gather a little bit of time later. Deku, he has an idea for how to train. They can find Theodore after these two have awakened, and hopefully things can go from there. Ironically, his mentor might become the weakest of them. Now that's a funny thought. Though, should he go and visit? Maybe. I can leave you guys in the hands of Zardeth. Right? You'll trust him? Are you sure he's safe to trust? He is. Right now, him teleporting all of them over to Bitopia. And the sun, it was down. Rhino people staring up as Diso and his sister, they are alarmed. And Deku, he has a turn. Still seeing Ochako and Bako, quite surprised to see this thing in the sky that's still there. But when they do go to arrive at the fort, people, they do go to roar out again for Deku. As people, they do come running over to bow, some falling to a knee and others giving Deku a salute. And he does go to wave someone away and ask if Zardeth is still here. He has a lot he wants to discuss with him. And the man, after someone does get to run off to report to him, he does come running back out. The dragons flying over as one is at a crash directly on Deku's face, two perching onto his shoulder, and one even going to try and land on his hair. And Zardeth, Zydir does get to fly up and chirp to his siblings to get off of him. However, it does go to remain perched onto Deku's head. Right now, someone going to laugh out as one of the dragons does a turn, it snapping out towards one of them. Before Indra does have one land on her, it perching on her hair and turning to talk to the other dragon. Zardeth expressing, it does appear that they've returned, though he was expecting a few more days, maybe a month at least. Do they need more weaponry? This is quite the larger crowd. Hello there. The man bowing, as the two halflings, they stare on. He's old. Holy shit. And the sky. A pleasure to meet you. Both the two bowing. And Deku does express, A lot's happened in the last couple days. They learned more about what was going on, and they were attacked during the tournament. Right now, these two need to be awakened as planeswalkers. And Ochako does have a massive mana pool. It probably is still bigger than his currently. But with his essence, he does surpass her there. Are you certain? It took 9 days for you to awaken because of a fast pace. If her mana is larger than yours, that could take more time. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. The spell is meant to use your own mana. The process doesn't fully begin until you're drained of it. It may take her several days to begin the process. I see. Are you sure that you want to do it, Ochako? I'm sure. Yeah, I'm still down for it, but should I spec into a pain tolerance skill? I don't think that helps. There's a lot of mental pain, not just physical. Though when the process starts, you have to endure it. You might be able to spec into a pain tolerance skill, but I don't know how well it'll help you. Mine, I've grown a little distant from. I see. Right. Bakugo looking down, searching for his skill as the man is to walk away, talking about how he'll get both of them ready. However, please find something comfortable, and if they do need to, have some food right now. The process will take some time, and they will not be processing food for a while. Both the two turning and looking into their inventories. Deku following the man and beginning a conversation, asking Zardith if he might know anything about the other adamantine dragons. And the man, he does get a turn for a second, looking at Deku. Why are you searching for them? These 5 only have a few centuries before they may die out again. If I bring back more, then the species can have a second chance. Not just these 5. It's also a little more for another reason. Aurora gave me a magic horn. If I revive another dragon, I might get another charge. It sounds selfish, but it's for a good cause. I see. I may know the location of another burial, but I don't know if they'd exactly be willing to come back to life. I can commune with the spirit there, if I do need to. If the soul's willing, then it will come to life. Those 5 were willing because they never got to experience life. This one did. And I'm hoping if it understands our plight, then it will be willing to come back. If it knows what it's doing, then it will be happy to be a proper guide, in case something happens to you. I see. Yes. That is nice. Thank you again for what you've done for me. Do you know how many years you have left? I don't know if that's a harsh question or if it's just heartless for me to ask like that, but do you know how many you have left? No, I do not. One day I'd simply fade in my sleep. It sounds rather nice, but I fear I may not experience that this life. I have heard from others of the experience, some who think that they have moved on. I do not know what it is like, but perhaps one day, with what you do plan to do, I may get that. I may go into open arms embrace it and find out what's on the other side. I think I would like that. It will take some time, but I will help you on your search. Him bowing his head, walking away and trying to get things ready. And Elsa, she still has her jaw a bit on the floor seeing that man. That guy is a dragon in human form. Another freaking dragon. Bakugo laughing out a bit and trying to calm her down. Though Deku, he is trying to get things prepared for his next event. Right now, him planeswalking back to Granola and going to appear in his room. And he does, just won't stand there. Him looking around. The room is normal. The room, it's so distant. And there's a faint smell in the air. And whenever it does it touch his nostrils, he does get to close his eyes. So familiar. No. Opening them. He thinks it's just his imagination. Turning and walking out. Right now him strolling down the corridor and trying to find the right room. Knocking on a door as someone they do go to express. And they're a little busy. Him knocking on it again. Asking Lillian if she's sure. And there is a short pause. Her rushing over to the door and pulling it open. Seeing him and going to someone back away, but then staring at him. What are you doing here? I wasn't informed of your return. It's a little sudden. But I need some help. What do you mean? Your father? Your grandfather? I need his help with some magic items. I don't know how well off Granola really is. It's a little large for a kingdom. It's good, and it's got good trade. I've met with many of your royal court members, and I was curious if they could help me sell dragon parts. Dragon parts? Yeah. For not only potential gold, but for more magic items. I'll need them. I need grimoires, mainly, and that's another story. Maybe some magical scrolls, techniques, stuff like that. Are you sure? I'm sure. That could cost hundreds of thousands of. I have the parts. 6 dragons and a kraken. Her staring at Deku. Her white hair going to fall on her face when her head does tilt with a blink. 6 dragons? I'm sorry, a kraken? One is ancient, and one's from hell. It's a hellfire dragon. I'm sorry, I'm having trouble following. York was attacked. I killed 2 of those large creatures, and they're currently taking up space in my inventory. 2 I killed in the Underdark, another I killed falling in, and another I hunted down after my wedding day. Oh, you're married to the Fey Princess that I was having trouble with before, yeah. Listen, I just need your help. Do you think that you can get everything sorted? It will take time. I'll certainly have to reach out to some people. The nation that dealt with the spider, they got their pound of flesh there, and if we do reach out with this situation, I'm sure they're more than willing to open up their coin purses to allow us some flow. The idea that they can also get a decent share of the magical items as well could be another incentive. Just do what you think is best. I can notify the guild. and I'll make them well aware. I know how much is missing. I know what is there. I can return next week for the items needed. The flesh, the scales, whatever I need, along with the meat. Really? Yeah. The Kraken meat is good. Though, let them know. I can also provide the blades to cut it all open. I'll just have to leave some blades with them, actually. Him nodding his own head. Before he hears a reappear in the guild hall, and they do something gonna stagger to the left when they do go to see Deku. Right now, the woman behind the counter jumping back as he does it express. He's here for a few things. Um, you have to wait in line. Sorry, it's Deku pulling out the necklace and holding it up. It's an official thing. Oh, I'm sorry, but you're the hero. Long story, I'm alive. Listen, I need to turn in some dragons and a kraken. The princess is working on how to repay me and deal with some things, but I'll provide the stuff for the guild. Him going to slam down some knives on the table, and the woman does look down at them. Quite confused as Deku does get a turn. A man stepping in front of him as Deku does look up. You're interrupting my Deku grabbing him directly by his shoulder, going to shove him out of the way as the man is sent flying, walking directly outside and going to bring his hand up. And people do watch the man run after Deku. Though over a massive dragon corpse without a head is go flying out from his inventory and crashing down, the man does get a stagger backwards. Looking at that, and then watching as a second dragon does go crashing to the ground. Then a third one. And then a fourth one. And he does watch as Deku does get a turn, going to walk into the open courtyard and bring up his hand again, crashing down two other dragons. And people, they have already begun to start muttering about exactly what they're seeing. And he does get a turn back. The woman running outside and glaring at the scene in front of her. Before Deku does it express, bring out a hand and talking about it. The Kraken's gonna take up way more space. He can drop it outside the city if they do need it. This is gonna be so much paperwork. Deku going to turn. Before he does that, tell the woman. He can place the Kraken outside the city. It's fairly large. I'm sorry, an actual Kraken? Yeah, squid the size of a castle. It's complicated. I killed it in another dimension with a giant dragon helping me. Actually, it doesn't sound that complicated. The woman blinking, giving Deku a blank expression that is hard to understand the words coming out of his mouth. And he does express. Do they think that they can handle all this? They're all still kind of fresh. In fact, he put them in his inventory after he killed them. And there's 6 of them. I see that. I'm sorry, but her turning her head, looking at the giant earthquake dragon and staring at the strange blood leaking from it. Oh, what is that beast? That one's different. It's, taken on aspects of other dragons. It's, as far as I can understand, a catastrophe dragon, if that's the category I think you can call it. Catastrophe? Its scales are made of earth. Yeah, it burrowed. But it's fine, it's dead. I made sure of that. Him crossing his arms. And someone, they do go walking up. Them trying to claim a bid on one of the dragons. Deku turning his head and glaring at the man, as the man is told to back away when guards do come running up. Princess Lilian already dispatched people and made them aware of the situation. In Izuku, he does recognize some of the men of the royal guard. Some give him nods, some are still staring at the dead creatures on the ground, and some do even look at him, quite surprised that the young man they saw years ago is this person in front of them. And Deku, he has a flying into the air, as he does feel a strange sensation at his side, bringing a hand down and grabbing his crystal, before he does pull it out of a pouch on his belt. Right now, him going to hold it up as a screen does appear. Lillian talking about it. She's been trying to contact him for a second. He needs to slow down. Sorry. What is it? I was hoping to talk with you soon. Are you busy? I've got a few things going on. I have to meet with the other heroes again. We were in the middle of something that was going on, and it's a little important. How important? I would like to discuss a matter with you. It's pertaining to you, and it may be a good venture for your repayment of the dragons. It is a high priority event for our kingdom, and my grandfather cannot attend it because he's sick. He is? King Solomon is not doing well? No, he isn't. His health has been a little bit on the decline. It's a private matter. If you could come back and speak, I can. Him going to fly out of the city and drop off the Kraken corpse. And when the ground does get a shake, people, they do because they come outside. Deku flying back to the castle as Lillian does get to sit on a balcony. Her staring on at the creature she can see in the distance. Him going to fly down and land. And she has a turn, seeing a man with dark blue wings and a red shirt, black hair bellowing as he to land in front of her. His face scruffy, a scar on it, and those glowing orange eyes and horns. He looks just as divine as he does look like a fiend. And that it does so intimidate her a little bit. But there's one thing she can tell on the expression on his face. Kindness. He's trying to not be as imposing as he is. And he does speak softly. Apologies, Lady Lillian. I did not mean to rush matters. It's just, we're dealing with a predicament, and I'd rather get it done quickly. I understand, Izuku. How have you been? Last time I saw you, you were cursed? Yeah. I'm doing better now. Listen, York was attacked. Things went bad there, and a lot of creatures arrived. We took out a lot of them, and they're trying to rebuild. I saw the man who murdered my allies. The man who cursed me. Him and his own allies appeared. They did? They showed up. They were there. I don't know if they're planning to make a move, but what's the word on the front lines? There's been minor activity, but I do not know. I see. Well, do you have your crystal? Her nodding. Right now, him going to bring up his hand, holding up his own crystal, and trying to think. Okay, maybe this can work. Going to try to form a connection with Bakugo. And right now his crystal, it is afloat into the air. before a screen does not pop up and he does go to express. Why is he calling him? Isn't he. Wait, there's a sky behind him. It worked. What did you do? I did what I needed to. Listen, I'll be back in a minute. I gotta go pick up Astoth. What about my familiar? And mine? Deku rolling his eyes before he said talk about it. They can grab the familiars in a minute. Right now he has to talk with the princess. Another face popping up. It, pulling it from Bakugo as Indra, does pop up, asking if he is talking to the Fae. No, Princess Lillian of Granola. I'm not talking to Thela. I see. Good. Well now, what did you do? I did what I thought would work. I'll be back in a minute, alright? Him smiling, before she does understand, hanging up the crystal and tossing it back to Bakugo. And he does go to hang up his own crystal and walk directly over to Lillian's, before he does go to grab hers from her hand, holding it up and going to focus on this, before a strange glow does surround her crystal, and Deku does to watch it as he does bring up his own, thinking about it, holding both of them as the glow does surround them. And he does talk about it. Right. That should allow him to contact her and her to contact him. It hopefully should work. Test it whenever he does leave. Wait. Yeah, I know. That was the next matter we needed to discuss. You're moving fast. I'm trying to. Our enemies have finally started making moves. And I've got a gut feeling. My gut doesn't tend to be wrong anymore. Okay. A royal event is happening soon. With my grandfather incapacitated, I need to be in attendance. Last year, an event similar to this one happened. However, because of your return, it was delayed. And we may be able to use this as an event to sell parts of the beast you brought back. I see. Yes, people were putting it off because of my grandfather's illness, hoping that it would get better, and it has not. I will be in attendance instead of him. The event will go on, but I would like you there as my bodyguard. And because the event does mention your honor. It's for Kirishima and me, isn't it? It is. Her bowing her head. And Deku does express. He can show up. When is it? It is in a few weeks. There are political ramifications from this as well. I see. Anything I should be worried about? Well, a neighboring kingdom and our kingdom, Duress, we have not been seeing eye to eye on many things. After your presumed death, they were not happy. And they have been bashing our methods. Some believe that it was our fault you were cursed, and, well, with their rescheduling, they didn't want to try and put it off for a little while. They put it to the day it was believed that your incident happened. Originally, we were trying to help honor the two we have left. With your arrival, I believe it would be good for them to know that there are 3 heroes. I see. Well, I can show up. Just let me know. Call me tomorrow. And if that contact crystal doesn't work, then I'll see what I can do. If it works the way I expect it to, you should be able to give me more information. Right now, I've got to go back to another land. Another empire? No, another realm. I'm working with some allies of mine, friends in far places, and I should be helping the heroes get stronger. After that, I do need to try and revive some heroes myself. You're going to try and revive Kirishima? No, I don't know if that's even possible. I'm gonna try and revive a species of dragons. If I'm correct, then Aurora may help us with that. She gave me something that I think I may be able to use. If I can't, then I'll at least continue my mission. I don't know. I'll be away for some time. If I can, I will pop into your event. Help Granala, since they've done so much to help me. Him bowing his head. And he does get a turn, telling the princess that he does hope she does have a good night, before she does go to stare at Deku's back, him teleporting away as she's on hold of the crystal, still quite surprised at the changes of him. He's different. And this thought does have her worried. Now, Deku, he does go back to Bitopia. They've got to do a few complicated things, and Zardith is still getting the circles ready. Though, right now, Deku, he does have to make a few pit stops. Heading here, there, everywhere, to try and get the familiars and find out what to do. And while Izuku is currently playing taxi, we do cut to somewhere else, where the paladin, he does get a fall to a knee. Him and many of his own allies. And the few people there, they do go to stare at the pool of water that does have a man floating in the middle of it. Right now, him going to rise up out of the pool as they do to watch the man go to stand on his feet, his upper half being displayed as his body does still look like it's regenerating. And the waters, they have done much to help him. Right now, he does go to stare at them, horns protruding from his head. Why exactly have you bothered me? The man beginning to walk out of the pool, before his servants do begin to move in front of him and go to start drawing him down. The man staring, turning at the ones as they do begin to start moving away. Him expressing, they are interrupting his time in the healing waters. Now, why exactly is that? Lord, there has been much happening. Your attack, it failed. The heroes still live. I expected failure from only one of you. You have gone against my methods once, and that was tolerated only once at a cost. But the man directly going to walk past them, asking why exactly they are here now, making his way over and sitting on a throne. Before he does, gonna glare directly at the paladin. Come now, paladin. I know you've fallen far, but what news do you have to tell me? You look wary of it. As I've said before, Lord, the news I bring you is not good. Is it not? Will it displease me? Greatly. One of the heroes is a planeswalker. The room falling silent, and a small crack can be heard, as the Demon Lord, he does ponder those words. A planeswalker. Right now, the men in front of him staring on. He does grip the sides of the throne tightly, and his face does get a scrunch up. His eyes go a little wide. His body is tense. I see. He's a planeswalker. That shouldn't be possible. I killed them all. How has one awakened? They are a hero. I believe this is exactly why a god chose them. A planeswalker. The man leaning back in his chair, and his body is shaking. And this does make Druso want to smile. Right now he's seeing the Lord of Devils, the Lord of Demons, shaking with fear at the thought of one single person. Not a person, actually. A creature of myth. One legends have perpetrated as a god. No, a race of gods. The Planeswalkers. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed and have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.